The story began in Japan, where our protagonist Yagami was working on his day off in the company. He had work to complete before the deadline, which originally belonged to his colleague Takahashi. Takahashi felt bad about making his senior Yagami work like that because of him. But Yagami was kind, and he responded with it being okay, calling it his duty as the training staff. He told Takahashi it was okay to make mistakes as a newcomer, as long as they don't repeat the same mistakes. Then Takahashi's phone started ringing, and after a few minutes of ringing, Yagami pointed it out to him. The phone rang from Takahashi's girlfriend's birthday, which was also their dating anniversary. Yagami heard and understood the situation, then he told Takahashi to return home, giving him the excuse that there was nothing left for Takahashi to work on. He also reminded him to reflect on his mistakes for now, and it would be faster for him to work alone so Takahashi didn't need to worry about him. Yagami considerately told Takahashi to not leave his girlfriend alone on a day like that. After hearing that, Takahashi's respect for Yagami increased, and he bowed to him to express his gratitude before returning to home. After he left, Yagami finished the work in time and headed out of the office to return. On the outside, he got called out by Takahashi, who came to meet him with his girlfriend. Yagami asked him what happened, and Takahashi said sorry again for making his senior handle his work. Takahashi's girlfriend also apologized to Yagami politely to have more work, and as an apology, she brought some things in a bag. She handed it to Yagami. He didn't mind anything. When he saw the bag, it was a set of salad, miso soup, and some mashed food. He was glad to receive it, and stated that he would eat them after returning home. Takahashi said they should go to a family restaurant as Yagami just got off from work. Yagami was glad, but he declined as he should return home since it was a special day for Takahashi and his girlfriend. They were shy hearing his words, and as their gratitude they at least wanted to see him off to the station. They started walking to the station, and Takahashi's girlfriend mentioned that he used to talk a lot about his senior Yagami, and they started having cozy conversations with each other. Yagami felt like he was interrupting their date and just wanted to go back in a different way. But when he turned, he saw a little kid running carelessly on the road, which was about to be hit by a truck moving in speed. Yagami shouted to warn the boy, and before it gets late, he ran himself to save the kid. Yagami got just in time to push the kid away, but he himself ended up being hit by the truck. And so the next thing he could see was the people gathered around him, Takahashi calling out his name and requesting him to stay conscious until the ambulance arrived. Thanks to Yagami, the child got out with only minor scratches, but now, Yagami was starting to lose his senses slowly. He realized that he was going to die now, and felt it would have been better to send someone off than being sent off like this, and it was painful to see someone being sad about his death. In his final moments, he heard some kind of voice searching for something. He wished he could have lived up to 80 years, and the voice started searching for those who can live for 80 years. He also regrets about learning so much in his job, but it was all for nothing, and wished he could transfer those skills to Takahashi. The voice searched for transferable skill and came to one conclusion. He was confused by that unknown voice, but in the next moment, he found himself being transferred to another world. When he opened his eyes, he saw the forest and sky. He wondered why he wasn't dead, and his skin had also turned blue. But when he saw in front of him, it was a group of goblins which seemed to be scared of him. They told him that he fell from the sky, and Yagami realized that he was now a goblin. He got hit by the truck and died, but soon reincarnated into a different world as a goblin. He found it funny at first, but after a month of living with them, he had now become a part of them. And this time, he learned many things, like goblins were insanely fertile, and female goblins could get pregnant even when they already had a baby in their womb, which was also why the goblins had a lifespan of only 7 days, and goblins were also born with some special skills, and they could even transfer their skills to another goblin at the time of their deaths. His own special skill was human 80 years, which gave him the lifespan of 80 years. Since he had lived for a month, he had already sent off 4 generations of goblins, which led to him having received a total of over 200 skills from those who passed away. But even if he could use his skills freely, upon his death only one of them, human 80 years, could be passed on to the next goblin. One day, he went in the forest randomly walking around, and eating delicious fruits along the way. It was a fact that goblins never sleep, and this was the same for him even if he had a lifespan of 80 years. But the thing that troubled him the most was his extremely active hormones, which led to his sex drive being 3 to 4 times that of a human. He was famous among the goblins, but he didn't see them in that way. Now while walking, he stumbled across the demon lord in a critical state lying under a tree. He still didn't know it was a demon lord, so he just went ahead and tried to cure the injured with his healing skill. He tried for a while, but it didn't work. The demon lord asked if he wasn't scared of this demon lord, to which his response was being shocked. After taking a closer look, he believed it was possible in this world just like other monsters and demons. Even so, he continued healing. The demon lord realized he wasn't just a normal goblin, and told him that his injury couldn't be cured by anything, including the healing he was casting on him. He tried to think of some solution, and asked the demon lord if there was any way to help him with any of his 277 skills. The demon lord was surprised to hear that, and bursted into laughter hearing that. Demon lord thought it was because of some mutation, and stated that if the goblin could hold that many skills, then he must have a bigger vessel to hold more. Seeing his ability to inherit skills from other species, Demon Lord asked if he wanted to receive his skill. Yagami was surprised to hear that, and remembered how he had already sent off many goblins, so he knew how important it was for the Demon Lord to entrust him with his skill in his final moments. He acknowledged his wish to leave a proof that they were once alive, and so he came up with the decision to finally accept Demon Lord's offer. Demon Lord smirked, and started focusing on bringing out his skill with all the strength he had, to give his skill, Law of the Jungle, to the goblin. The goblin Yagami received the skill, which has the tendency to make others obey those who are stronger than them. Once Yagami defeats someone from now on, they would absolutely obey him no matter what, and they could never betray him. After informing Yagami about this, the Demon King passed away with a smile on his face, after making a nameless goblin the next Demon Lord and left the rest to him. Yagami witnessed the Demon Lord's final moments, and the same day, the whole world was filled with joy on the confirmation of the Demon Lord's death, who had raged for over 100 years. But it was yet to be revealed that somewhere, a part of him hadn't disappeared completely, which was his skill with a goblin. When Yagami returned to his village, he saw that goblins were gathered. He went and asked what the commotion was about. They told him that one goblin killed a human, which was extremely bad news for all of them. Among them, there was even a taboo against killing humans, but the trader in question stated that he couldn't do anything else when the human was the first one to attack him out of nowhere. Even in self-defense, it was bad for everyone since the humans would soon come to attack the goblins. Not long after, a goblin came running desperately to inform everyone about the arrival of humans. All goblins fell into tension of what would happen to them now, as they weren't strong or anything to be able to protect themselves. Then Yagami stepped forward and asked which direction were the humans in. He learned there were 50 humans in total. He calmed everyone, stating that he would do something about this. The goblins were still worried as they didn't believe he could do anything against humans. Yagami went to the humans in a group and approached the woman who seemed to be in charge of them. He initiated wanting to have a talk with her, but she commanded everyone to attack him. Seeing no other way through it, he used his iron body, which was stronger than their weapons, which got broken upon making contact. He then used Stone Blast, summoning countless stones to strike them. The soldiers couldn't do much against his attacks, and he kept on using his skills until he defeated 49 of them. They, in charge, called them incompetent to defeat even a goblin, and then Yagami again approached her with the wish to talk to her. She heard him and took off her helmet, agreeing to give him a listen. Her name was Karen, and then Yagami went on to tell her that he knew what happened couldn't be forgiven easily, but he told her that she couldn't attack his village just for that reason. He asked if they wanted to annihilate them, which he couldn't allow. He told her that he was a goblin judge, which surprised her that goblins could have someone like that, and so he stated that the goblin in question would be given a punishment of 7 days in jail. She called it ridiculous and said that life imprisonment sounded more reasonable. He informed Karen about the lifespan of goblins, which was only 7 days, and she could even monitor them to ensure that sentence was carried out. She gave it a thought while they started into each other's eyes with sheer determination. The other soldiers called it stupid and charged towards Yagami, but he used the Law of the Jungle, which made all of the soldiers swear their loyalty to him and serve his commands. Karen was shocked by the change and found it amusing, so she agreed to Goblin's negotiations and acknowledged their laws in the jungle. She asked him if he had a name. He thought his Japanese name would be weird, and he didn't have any names in this world, so he came up with the name Akira, and Karen introduced herself too as the security inspector. Karen commanded everyone to withdraw afterwards. When Akira returned to the village, all the goblins called him their hero, who was able to negotiate with the humans. They acknowledged him so much that they made him their village head from now on. After 2 days went by, Karen came to Akira after confirming that the goblin in jail died. She pointed out why Akira was wearing a weird white outfit and hair with a staff. Akira informed her that he was made the village chief after that incident. She said it didn't suit him. Then he apologized and started changing to his former appearance. She claimed that him being the village chief made things more convenient. He understood the reason behind that must be the higher-ups being unsatisfied from the situation, which left her stunned to witness a goblin being aware of that. While he knew how the higher-ups were everywhere usually, even his previous life they were never satisfied, which he understood was also the case in this world too. He sympathized with her, but she declined to need his sympathy. Karen said that the current situation was that he would need to go to her superiors and persuade them. Once they were convinced, everything would be settled. Akira knew he had to meet them sooner or later, and if they were not convinced, the goblin village would